time for another round of brandy. Candid conversations over cocktails about all things brand with your hosts, Reilly Newman and Scott Saunders, the brand developers behind Motif Brands.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. I think I'm going to need an extra strong drink for this episode because we're going to hit it off with a little bit of news that we just discovered. An article, actually, you came across in Verve?
The Verge.
Verge, yeah.
They released an article. This is the end of May, so it just came out. But it's AI grifters are creating fake black people to sell Shein junk. And coincidentally, we just talked about Shein.
Shein, yeah.
Last episode.
It's like Temu, but it's even more crappy. And
apparently they are posting on TikTok and probably Instagram as well. But it looks like TikTok's their main vehicle for this, where they have they're creating with AI. They're crying. They're using men and women. They have them crying where they look like they're like artisans or people who make hats or belt
like
buckles.
Some guy might be making some out of his garage, and he's just like, telling his great heartfelt, comeback story in life, but that he's struggling as a shop owner and they're leaning into people's empathy.
And what's crazy about it is that these videos are actually going viral. Like that's why The Verge picked it up, is that these videos are going viral because people are sharing them thinking, hey, go support them. They're not sharing them going, hey, look at this AI junk.
It's a $40 hat or belt buckle. Not butt buckle. Belt buckle. It's a little bit of a,
same area, same region.
Anyway, but yeah, it's marked up, and they're leaning in particularly to, like you said, African American women, young business owners, right? Particularly, there was a couple, and they're all just like kind of like tearful,
they're
like
all crying.
They're all crying and stuff, and that brings up a point. Like, if you're crying and you're videotaping yourself, and you're genuinely grieving. I don't know anyone that is genuinely grieving that then thinks to pull out a phone and talk to the audience that are crying.
To go live.
I feel like most of the videos that I come across on social media and stuff where people are crying, it's like a selfie zone. I kind of question it a little bit because you had the wherewithal to break out your phone and videotape it, to utilize it to gain sympathy or support. And that just feels like selfish motives as opposed to someone that's actually like going to call a timeout and go off to themselves and have a good cry because that's what they need to, whatever they're dealing with.
Well, and even the writing that they're having on it, like they'll change the verbiage a little, it looks like, across these examples that they're giving. But on one, the AI girl is saying, even as a black woman, I have more faith that white women will stay 13 seconds just to save my belt buckle business, ... And then she did like the crying emoji and like the praying hands, the hand in hand. Which is
the thankful hands.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because it's
the ugly side of AI, where it is being used to scam, to fool, to just
deceive.
Really pull off a con job.
And I think what's interesting about it is that these products, like the example they gave with the belt buckles, they're selling on Shein for $9, and you can literally find the product on there, the exact same thing. And if you buy through one of these fake videos, you're paying like $40 for it. So there's a 4x increase on it. And that's interesting because it kind of gives you a barometer or like a metric of, okay, can emotions have that much power that someone's willing to pay, 4 times the amount of what the actual really commodity price of the product is? And just because you have a video of someone crying and they're guilting you and pressuring you with all these stigmas and things that you've been conditioned to believe, you have someone taking advantage of that. And that's where I think it gets interesting, because if you do, just like with technology or anything across the board, you have the good side of it, like the internet. You have the good side of the internet, and then you have the dark, bad side of the internet. So whenever you have technology come around, it shows the goodness of humans, but it also then reveals a lot of the badness of humans. And I think that's what you're seeing here with like AI, of people using it to literally just deceive people and take advantage of them. And, you've had this since, snake oil salesmen back in the day and con men all around. But again, the emotional aspect of it, of them being able to now take advantage of people using emotions at scale. Yeah. And what's crazy about it is that I guess that they're finding out that these accounts that are being made, they're just being created, by the hordes of them, because TikTok will catch on and shut down some of the accounts and do that, but they're being multiplied so fast that they can't catch up with the accounts and the amount of videos, and them going viral is just exponential. So it's, as one thing, a warning of going, hey, don't believe everything you see, of course. But this does also, what they're calling it is empathy bait. And just like, we've had for 5-7 years with rage bait, where a media outlet or a social, influencer will say something or do
Even
something.
Brands are leaning hard into their audience that holds that same perspective.
Yeah, and it's not even about that, because the social influencers and brands have figured out that if you do something that's polarizing or something that's actually going to create kind of what this rage bait is, right? Just like this empathy bait, you have people who will start going back and forth on comments. And we've all seen it, and maybe even been pulled into it, where you're argumenting with someone in the
You just said argumenting. Arguing?
Oh, that's a good
arguing.
Argumenting. I was thinking commenting. Argumenting. It's like comments. It's like arguing comments. That word, arguing back and forth with someone in comments, and that actually, it improves the algorithm for that post. So the more, if they'll post something that's kind of outrageous or something that's borderline a certain way, just to get people going back and forth in the comments, and then that will help their post reach more people. So it's very, again, it's, to me, it's very manipulative and wrong.
And here's an instance where we're using two different emotions. One is anger, right? Frustration and leaning, and then kind of lighting fuel to that. Another is empathy. People that are empathetic, that feel sorry for others, highlighting that, reason to be sorry, or that object of the remorse, and then, or the sorrow, and then, capitalizing on it.
Yeah. And I think it kind of just taints the waters. And again, it's like doing a sale where you might see some immediate, I guess, metric jump up of, oh, wow, look how many likes we got, or how many comments, or our thing went viral. But it's like, is that really the healthiest kind of gauge on what you're doing? And is that best for long term? And so overall, like, you're going to see more of this, and you're going to feel pressure as a business owner to go, hey, if we just, not that you're going to make someone cry and post a video, but if you just use a little bit of AI and help it generate, it actually swing it a little more this way, you'll nudge, right? That's a nice term, is to nudge people in a certain direction, so maybe they feel bad, or maybe they get a little excited and angry about it, and you get more sales that way. I just don't think that's a good, sustainable, long-term strategy or strategy. Yeah,
really, because we talked, brand is all about strategy. So it's, again, what you're doing isn't just, it shouldn't be arbitrary. There shouldn't be one-offs, right? You've got to build, you've got to be consistent in your brand and connect with your audience in some way, because you do want that ultimate end of what we call our positioning flywheel to be kinship. You want that ownership. You want them to feel like they have emotional ownership in the brand, because then now you've got the true following. It's not based on viral stuff. It's not based on schemes to loop them in. It's based on loyalty. That will allow you then to increase the value you bring and increase your price point in service or offerings or whatever it is, because you have that loyalty.
Yeah, and I think no one likes to feel tricked. And when you do, these are extreme examples, right, where you're literally deceiving someone. But I feel like even in small ways, businesses can kind of, they'll trick someone, or they'll trick someone in advertising without it being false advertising, or they'll say a certain way, or I don't know.
Like the best, the best hamburger in the world. It's like where they go world famous. It's like, by whose standard? The person selling that item? Yeah. That's
or just over promising and doing things where it's just like it doesn't. And I'm like, that just doesn't work. It doesn't work, and no one likes to be tricked or feel that way. And so to me, it's like, when you're doing business, it's always better to underpromise and overdeliver. I don't care what you're doing. And that should go with your advertising, your marketing, your brand, everything. And you see these things, and it's not sustainable, and it's not healthy. So
yeah, it's for the same reason, whenever you feel, duped, or you see some ad, you see something, and then you go to, there was a little disclaimer, or there was a, contingency offer that it isn't what they proclaimed it to be, but legally, yes, it was, but that's not how they kind of phrased it. And so you kind of get sucked in or drawn in.
Yeah,
right?
Technically.
Yeah. It's kind of like when they go, hey, our program is free, right?
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, well, we offer a 10-day free trial. So there's your free. And then after that, oh yeah, no, it's $89.99.
Even on car commercials, when it's like, oh, only pay $1,500, and like on the commercial, it's like that's the big number they're showing. I'm like, dude, anyone who, you're either going to trick someone through the doors, or they go, yeah, I want to buy the truck, and then, oh, it's only this much. And then, oh yeah, but you're on the line for this much at this financing rate, and you're now prisoner.
Oh
to
yeah,
your
you didn't
debt.
qualify for that based on your credit rating.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So this is the real price for you. And you're like, what?
And I'm like,
So they didn't have a 1,400 credit score, what, something so unattainable.
they're gonna find out one way or another, and it's just like it's such a wrong way to go about it. But yeah, so don't let that fall. Don't let your business fall prey to that. Like it's seriously just be above the standard.
Have your brand be above reproach.
Yeah, and to wrap it up, I was kind of thinking about, because people are freaking out because of AI and jobs and all that stuff, right? And to me, it's like Morgan Housel. He's a good investor of like a fund, and he wrote the book The Psychology of Money. And he always talks about don't get distracted by all the things that are changing, but look at the things that haven't changed. Look at the things that have stayed consistent and constant throughout time. And I was thinking about that with all these new changes and everything. I'm like, what's the one thing that hasn't changed? Is it value-wise, right? The one thing that humans have always valued throughout time is reputation. Reputation always, for better, for worse, if you have a bad reputation, if you have a good reputation, it always holds its value. And everyone, no matter, even in different countries, we have the same currency of reputation. And so when it comes to brand, it's like the same thing, where it's like brand and reputation are kind of in the same ballpark, where you need to, no matter what's going on in technology or what new shortcuts are brought to you to buy or try out or whatever, it's like you need to always make sure your reputation stays intact, because that's the one thing that's always going to withstand through the years and through the different storms and through different technological advancements and everything. And that's the one thing that people actually care about, and that's the currency that matters at the end of the day. And so it's kind of just a good reminder of going, okay, even with all these things, with these new tools, how can you use them for good and to bring more value and to add more to your product or service that's actually going to benefit people, and not just taking advantage of them or trying to take their money. But thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of Brandy.
Cheers.
Cheers.